What's up, y'all? I'm Miss Megan Liana, and welcome to Be Fucking For Real Talk Back Thursday. It's our first Talk Back Thursday, so I had to bring a special guest, big homie, big dog. You can catch his comedy special On a Mission on Amazon right now, y'all. Tavon Greatness. Woo! We go way back, y'all. We go way back. So as soon as I knew I had to bring a guest, I was like, hey, dog, you want to do this with me? And he was
so
with
available. Great job.
How you
I'm
feeling?
feeling fantastic, Meg. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm doing wonderful.
All right.
Life is good. No
Life is
complaints. In this beautiful studio, shout out Outbox Media Studios, Vegas.
Yeah, this got some money in it.
It do.
I like it.
It's fancy, right?
It is.
He got us right. Okay, so it's been a fucking week. It's been so much going on that, like, it literally fucked up how I was planning the show. Like, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, hold up. All right, we gotta go back to the drawing board. Okay, so let's just get into it. Young Thug, he has had a week. Today, it's been so bad that they had to stop letting his calls get released now. Like, Cobb County put a block on people getting access to the public records of his jail calls. Then he also got dissed by Glorilla. That got leaked today. And then he came out with an apology song and an apology post. Now,
Yo, I ain't never seen a phone debacle since Mike Jones put out his phone number. But this is wild.
So here's the thing, right? I want to get into a video from his interview that he did on a podcast last week. So it got so bad he had to do an interview on a podcast to kind of explain the calls. And
True.
so I want to get into this video that this clip of this video, and then we'll go into this question I have.
Cause I'm a big brother to these niggas. So that's why I do shit like head up when we on these calls. When we in this courtroom, man, head up, chin up. Fuck that, nigga. If we go to prison for the rest of our life, whoop-de-doo. We go to prison, nigga. And we fight to get out this bitch. If we beat these folk, whoop-de-doo. We beat them. We go forward. That's how I go.
Me, okay? Like, but first I want to introduce our second guest. She is the host of Stuck at a Green Light Media podcast, Forever the Realist.
Hey.
How you doing, girl?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be here tonight.
Happy you are here too. Okay, so about that comment, that whoop-de-doo, right? Because one thing that stuck out to me was he was like, if we go to jail, whoop-de-doo. If we beat it, whoop-de-doo. Okay, first I feel like, has nobody learned from Death Row Records? Like, shouldn't the head of the label, the head of the artist, like, don't they have a responsibility to keep people out of trouble?
Well, yes, they do. However, if your label is built on trouble and that's all y'all know and that's all y'all want to do, then that's what comes with it. This man is amazingly wild. And just in the times that we in, it's just, I guess it's accepted just because we are so lost. We're just so lost to where we so desensitized that we just feel like, yeah, just go to prison. You know, like,
Right.
we know what they're like, just go to prison. So it's just, it's wild for him to say that. It's wild for him to just be in this situation. Whatever street culture is these days, I'm so glad I'm so far removed from it and not having to deal with it. But this is what you get.
Right.
This is what you get when you have this type of profile. So
What
it's
you
wild
think?
to me.
I mean, like you mentioned something very important, the culture, and the culture of hip hop and just the imagery that is presented is like, oh, that's tough. Like, it's normal. It's like, but in reality, when you really in that situation, it's nothing like that. So I think it's just like, an agenda, a facade, just to make
Right.
it seem like it's like whoop-de-doo.
Right.
Know?
But here's the thing, like
Yeah, the nonchalantness about what prison is
like-
wild
it's
to me.
like-
Like,
important.
it's the nonchalantness, like it's still
Right.
prison. You know what I'm
Prison.
saying? Like it's prison. It's not fun. You eating like you got money. You got enough money to where people putting stuff on your books. But let's say if you was in there for 10, 15 years, it's gonna start looking a lot different.
Absolutely.
And two, it just people used to want to get out. Like people would rap to get out of that once upon a
Mhm.
time. Like
that was the mission.
the goal was to get out the hood. And it seems like now rappers do it ass backwards. It's like they rap to get involved. It's like now they got money to do hood shit. Like they got money to basically put hits out on people. They got money to, because again, like no one, what irritated me the most is people were more concerned with snitching than him possibly getting Lil Wayne tour bus shot up.
yeah. And I think the thing with snitching in this society, first of all, these kids can't read
At all.
They don't understand like when people are using big words, and so like when you are in a courtroom or you're in an interrogation room and they're trying to put you in jail, in prison for a very long time, life and all that, and so they're just excited to talk because they know how. And so it's just like, and the street snitching rules is so skewed now.
So here's my
because-
point. I want to ask about that. Is street code still a thing? Because I don't think snitches get stitches anymore. Like, I don't think I think that there's this perception, like people like to say, oh, thug snitch, gun is a snitch. You remember Tekashi 6ix9ine, he's a snitch. People love to throw that snitch word around,
Right.
but
Because they just learned it. They just learned how to spell it. And so they're not even understanding the repercussions of it because they're the OGs right now. They're the ones that's living in the streets and all that. So it's just wild to me because, like I said, I think we just so lost because nobody is setting rules and parameters anymore because it's
Right.
just the wild, wild west out here. Like,
right.
if you got money, you can make the rules, and some of them just don't even know what the rules are, so they making it up as they go along. And
Right.
if it benefits them to say it this way, but I got enough money to pay everybody off, or just it's chaos. It's complete chaos, and don't nobody know what they really doing out here. But then it's like everybody's snitching, but everybody's home. So what are we talking about here? Everybody that's been claimed of snitching are being claimed of snitching, and everybody's sitting in their living room right now. So it's like,
And they still getting money.
so what are y'all doing? It's wild.
What you
I
think?
think Tekashi 6ix9ine definitely changed the game with snitching. I mean, for him to do all of that and then come out with an actual video, of him being a rat is just epic. And nothing happened to him, And we're not going to talk about race in this sense. I think it's agenda in this sense always when it comes down to entertainment and things of this nature.
Right.
So I definitely think that the street code is still present in the real streets, but when it comes down to entertainment, there's no streets there. But I think the street code still exists in the streets, though, in the street life.
Right. But this is what this case reminded me of. And it's so funny because I saw a video on it on TikTok, right? Goddamn TikTok. And so
Thank God for TikTok.
seriously. But there was a video and it was talking about the kid that Boosie paid to do his dirt. And so Lil Boosie got off on the murder trials that he was tried for
Mhm.
because he hired a 12-year-old and paid him $2,000 for everybody.
Yikes.
And he paid him $2,000 for everybody, and the kid ended up snitching at 15 because not even snitching, he told on himself because he couldn't sleep at night because all the people he killed. And but he was 12. But it reminded me of how Young Thug had Little Woody.
Mhm.
And it's like, it doesn't seem like these are really like street dudes, like you said. Like there's no structure. It's just dudes get money and they hire a street dude to do the dirty work for them
Mhm.
and then let them get caught or call them a snitch. Like it doesn't really seem like I don't know if there's an honor among thieves, but there doesn't seem like there's like a scout's honor in what they're doing.
Right.
Shouldn't have never let these dummies get money.
That's it.
That's it.
Because they know nothing about money management and wealth and
Right.
generational, income, and it's just a show.
Do you think he can recover from this?
Slaps. Put out the slaps. You gotta put out the slaps. You put out the slaps, we can get over it. But at this point, what is it to get over? What is it to get through? Like, what are we looking for the culture that we're in?
Right.
And for the age group that I'm in, I'm not desperately seeking to see what Young Thug has to put out
Exactly.
and so it's like, all right, for that generation, what is it that y'all trying to recover back from what? He's home. Like,
right.
I've always been a person when it comes to jail, when it comes to prison, when it comes to me not being able to do what the fuck I want to do
Exactly.
in life. Like,
not fucking with it.
I'm not fucking with it. Like, I don't have, I'm not fucking with it. And I've got enough equity with people that's close to me, with people that are in the streets that do those type of ordeals to go, yeah, Tavon, we not trying to involve you.
Not
Stay
for
away.
me.
It's not for you. And we gonna keep you away from it. But now it's just like everybody is like, I want to just be involved because I know such and such and I know such and such and we gang, we good. And it's like, no, y'all are just throwing y'all lives away.
Especially the new rappers. I feel like all the new rappers, like when I think of Lil Durk's case and how he got down for Rico and how he was the one that put the hit out on that rapper's kid and killed him in Beverly. I'm like, these rappers is really just killing niggas.
Yeah.
And it's like, they get so much money. It's just I can pay to get someone got. I can pay to move these drugs. And it's like, you should just be getting paid for your talent, baby. And it ain't that much there.
It ain't that much there.
Okay,
Gonna be
so okay, so moving on. Tyler Perry, his accuser, Derek Dixon, did an interview, and so I did put together some clips of the interview for us to check out because, for one, what struck me is that he's just suing Tyler Perry. Like, this hasn't gone to trial. This isn't like an actual. It's a civil suit. It's not like an actual case of assault or anything. And I do have a question after we get into this clip because it was very, very telling. So I want to say I don't victim blame. I do believe men can be victims. So let's start that. So that way, if anything, comes out wrong, I just want to know I do believe victims and I do believe men can be victims as well. So let's go ahead and get into that clip.
Can you explain that first alleged incident?
Yes, we were over at his house. We're having some drinks in his guest house, and it was late at night, and he has a guest quarters, and said that you can sleep there instead of not driving. And I got into bed, and then I noticed that he climbed into bed with me as well, and started rubbing my leg. And I jumped up out of bed, and he has said, turn around so I can look at you, and just commented on how I looked, and then he got up and left. So I thought after that instance, it was pretty clear that I was not interested in that type of a relationship.
Another alleged incident that you outline in your lawsuit where you're, again, at Tyler Perry's home in Atlanta, and it ends up with you locking yourself in a bathroom.
Mm-hmm. We started out having drinks in the living room like we, have done before, and it got to a point in the night where, we were both kind of feeling drunk, and I remember we were walking back to the guest area where I've stayed before, and there was this health monitor scale on the way. And I was like, what is that? And he said, well, you have to be in your underwear to measure, whatever, so you should do it. He reached down and pulled my underwear down and grabbed my ass, and I tried to stop him and pull back my underwear up, and he kind of grabbed my arms and said, no, it's okay. Just go with it. And I said, stop, I don't want to be naked. I don't want this. And he was just like, no, I'm not going to hurt you, and just continued.
He says he de-escalated and distracted Perry and eventually locked himself alone in the guest house bathroom.
You're asking in your lawsuit for damages totaling $260 million. How did you arrive at that number?
Part of that number is my lost job, my lost income, the loss of the show. The other part of that is a deterrent for, how do you stop a billionaire who won't stop themselves from doing this?
Wow.
Okay. Now, my first question, how much should an ass grab cost?
Oh my God. He just hopped on the bandwagon of all the other accusers that's been accusing, and I know majority of them are women, but like you said, he's a male and he want to play this victimized role to gain fortune, of course, on another billionaire that's out there. His story is just so ridiculous. Like, I don't even know why this is even getting publicity. Like, this is ridiculous.
Okay, but I will say, here's where I play devil's advocate, right? Like, listening to the story, as I've been around men who are a little too grabby, on more than one occasion, right? And so it's like, but as a female, like, I've been in that situation where it's like, now I could say after that first time, I wouldn't put me personally, I wouldn't put myself in that position a second time.
Yes.
Like, if you jumped in the bed with me when I was drunk and I'm in your guest house, I'm not going back and drinking with you and going to that same guest house. Like, it's just.
And it probably wasn't the same guest room. If you're thinking about a billionaire's house, well, maybe the vibe in the left wing was the wrong vibe. Let me go sleep in the right wing now and see if things would be different.
Time, right?
Listen, and then with a name like Derek Dixon, you just hey man, hey.
Shit happens,
Tyler
right?
Perry likes that. All right, you got a name that just gravitates toward getting your ass grabbed. I don't know. It's wild, but this is another instance, man, where people just have to understand Tyler Perry gonna get that ass. All right. Hey.
And we don't know these people personally.
We don't.
Right? And we can't put nothing past anybody, right? So, we don't know the real deal.
Because to me it sounded like listening to him, I'm like, okay, it sounded a little believable. I'll give him benefit of the doubt. But does the amount somebody sues for take away from their believability? Like, if you're suing for X amount, is it too hard to believe that actually happened to you?
Yeah.
You said you've been through this before, right?
260
Can you get
million?
$260 million from a random dude that just is too touchy, too Philly, too this and that? And that's where I get to where it's like, okay, this is BS. Like, this is another way to, take advantage of
because
the system.
Even when it comes to him saying he lost money, baby, you was not getting even $1 million to show.
But
like,
how did you?
Exactly. Like,
how
the calculations
did you
when you
lose
sat
work
there
from that?
Okay, so the part where he lost work is, and I kind of cut it out, but basically Tyler Perry made his character get shot 4 times on one of the season finales.
Of course.
And so that was something that he was kind of hanging over his head, like, I could kill your character. And so that was where the threat came in. And I guess after the ass grab, that was when he left. But again, I doubt if he was even getting $1 million per show, let alone like 6 figures.
Yeah,
like,
I think what he did, he sat down with a calculator and just pushed like 999999999 times. All right, he grabbed my ass about 4 times. 4. We're like 260 billion. I think we could do that. Yeah, I mean, it just for the profile of what Tyler Perry is and just the accusations, you're gonna aim high. I'm sure there's not a lawyer that's gonna say, well, let's just try to settle out of court for $50K. Like, no, it's Tyler Perry, so you're gonna try to get your money.
Right.
You're gonna try to aim high. And so when you say that, and then you're asked on TV, like, how'd you come up with that? And it's like, well, yeah, I lost money for work. And
Like, baby, you ain't lose that
bro,
much.
you was working at Starbucks when Tyler's probably gonna be like, you was at Starbucks when I found you.
Right.
So
He's gonna give I made you, I can break you type
yeah,
thing.
type ordeal, and that's just wild. But
the thing is too, I think that because people have suspected this of Tyler Perry and that he, you know what I mean? Like there was that one actor, I forget his name, but he was an actor on a Tyler Perry show where he talked about a director sexually harassed him, but he never gave the name. Then you think of the Boondocks episode that they had to take off. Like the allegations have always been there. And so I think too, it's like it's a believable thing where it's like, hey, well, you know,
and I'm at a point too now where like, and not to be super machismo, but when these people be saying like, I told them no, or they went to grab me, and it's like if you're that afraid, if you not with it at that to that intensity, like how come ain't nobody just hauling off and stealing on these people?
True.
Or causing some real violence. Like if I'm being assaulted sexually and I know for a fact I'm not with this on no level, and you keep trying me, like just grabbing my arm or me running to your guest room and locking myself in the door, like no, I'm breaking shit, you getting hit, I'm kicking, I'm screaming, I'm doing all that. So it just amazes me how soft everybody is when it comes to like
vulnerable.
and how soft and vulnerable you become, where it's just like, no, I just don't want to, like, no, like.
Because I think even as a woman, like when I've been felt like in a vulnerable position, it's like, that's when I feel like I've gotten something like, nah, back the fuck up. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, chill the fuck out. All right, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? And it's like,
put some bass and some diction in your voice, Mr. Dixon. What you mean?
What happened to the fight or flight? Like, I mean, just be like, I think that is the thought behind, their mind is just, I'm going to sue and come up off of this situation. Like, I don't know, like, how that goes, because it's happened multiple times to recognize when you have this opportunity to do the same thing.
And when you finally came out the bathroom, where was Tyler?
And where did you go after that?
Where did you go after that? Did you just walk out the front door like, whoop-de-doo?
You done with that one.
But but seriously though, I think that comes into play because it's like, for one, like I said at the first point, why would you put yourself back in that situation? You know what I mean? And because it's like, women have been sexually harassed in workspaces, and yes, we've gone back to work, but please believe we ain't ever been alone with that boss again, or you try to avoid certain situations in that work environment. So it's like when you leave the work environment and go back to the same house you were originally assaulted at, it begins to feel like, okay, you kind of do lose sympathy because it's like, did you, I hate to sound like this, but it's like, did you want it? Like, I don't want to be victim blame. I'm not trying to be victim blaming, but again, when you put yourself in the same situation of drinking, staying in their guest house, it's kind of
that
like,
don't make no sense to me. Like,
no, it doesn't.
It just don't make no sense.
Like,
I didn't want it because it was vodka the first time, Tyler. Like,
like you got Hennessy.
I'm a Merlot guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you would have started with the Merlot, maybe, but no, bro. Like,
let's do a different drink today.
Yeah,
right?
And on a different side of the house. Like, I know how Tyler was probably trying to move on, dude.
You know he got a big ass house, right?
Yeah, like, and then you lock yourself in the bathroom, and then we're supposed to say, so after you got out the bathroom, where was Tyler at?
How'd you get out?
How'd you get out? What happened? Like, I don't think those are instances where you just come out the bathroom, Tyler's now at his studio, and you're just able to put your clothes back on and walk out the door, and they open the gate, and you're just free to go.
But it makes me wonder, too, because when you think of, like, Harvey Weinstein, when he got sued, and same thing with Diddy, how there were, like, a lot of people that jumped on the suit and were, like, adding to it. And so it makes me wonder, did he go about this lawsuit route in hopes that maybe other people would jump on to kind of like back him up? And I don't think nobody's really backing him up or corroborating it. And so it's like, it makes me wonder where this case is gonna go.
Because a lot of them is like, well, nigga, I'm on season 3, 4, or 5.
They're like, baby, we just gonna take it.
We just gonna take the spot.
Literally.
We are in Atlanta, sir.
On to another weirdo. So
God, this is the weirdo episode, huh?
this is the weirdo segment. We in the weirdo segment. Look, I had to start with some funny shit weirdos, and then it's gonna get real, all right? Because it's been a week. So this week, Congress released the Jeffrey Epstein birthday book. In that birthday book was the picture that Donald Trump drew Epstein for his birthday. Can we put that picture up? Because it's very, very telling.
This nigga's drawing now. Like, what's going on?
He's a doodler. Like, there are. So he said he didn't draw. However, he has a lot. There are a lot of pictures like of towers and buildings and shit. Donald Trump just be drawing shit when he be bored, basically. So, but this is the picture that he drew him, that the picture that never was, right? And so already people have been saying that's not his signature. So like the Republicans and his peoples, they're just like, that's not his signature. I've seen Donald Trump sign, that's not his signature. Now there is a montage of Donald Trump signatures and it's very similar to all his signatures, but I digress. My question is, do you think this matters? And do you think if the Epstein files were released today with Donald Trump and all them people in it, do you think it would matter or make a difference to his base?
No.
Not at all. Like, not at all. Okay? Really? Yeah. Like, all the things that Donald Trump have done and been through and this and that and nothing is... No.
Yeah.
Nah. It's not. The whites are going through it. They are.
They're having
themselves
a rough
2025.
Yeah.
But the week is. Nah, I don't think this affects him at all because like this is minuscule to what like you previously just said, like what he's been up to. Like the man got reelected as a president under like 1,000 felony accounts. So like
he is actually convicted of sexual assault.
And then Dixon, you're suing the wrong man. That's what you're doing right now. But no, that's wild. And it's just at this point, I just think it's filibuster news when they start to bring up these Epstein files and all that stuff.
Right.
Like just because it's like, all right, the victims ain't saying nothing. They not gonna get nothing done. The man is dead. Donald Trump's president. Whoever's on the files,
now
they're
to
in
piggyback
power.
off the victims. So here's what had happened though. See, it'd be a lot of news. Last week, Congress, all the victims did do this like press conference, and supposedly they're actually going to put a list of names together, and Congress is going to read the names out loud on the congressional floor because they can't be prosecuted or sued for that. But again, I don't think it matters either. Like, absolutely. I think that for one, okay, so the book is public record. This birthday book is public record. I looked at it. I looked at half of it, and I was like, yo, these people are fucking sick. Like, these are, and it's sick because, can we put that other picture up, please? It's sick because it's like when you go through the book, it's like people are telling their personal stories with Jeffrey Epstein. More people drew pictures, so I'm going to put up another picture that people drew. But it's like everybody knew. And then when you think of all of these powerful people, like the rich and powerful people, even there was a story last week that came out how Chase Bank hid, and basically they covered for Jeffrey Epstein and all of the transfers and all the stuff that was going on. So this is such like a big cover up and a big thing that it's like, I don't even think if they listed all the names, I don't think all the names would be named. Like,
yeah, like, unless you're doing it live with everyone present. And then, like I said, at the end of it, what happens to these people?
Right.
Like, yes. If it's up to the people to decide, what does that even look like?
But and what is the end game?
Right.
Like, what is the point of this?
Because I think it's like, MAGA and the Republicans, they want the list released so bad, but it's like, after it comes out. They just want the Jeffrey Epstein files released. Whatever those files are, they just want to go through them. But it's like, what's the end game? Then what happens? So then it's like you have all these people that are listed as PDFs, and then it's like, what?
Do they not realize we already view them as PDFs in the first place? Like, let's not be. We view y'all as PDFs.
This is another picture that was drawn in.
Yeah, the Pied Piper.
Yeah, and so, but then you see, like, 1 year he's giving them balloons, and 20 years later they're massaging him topless in thongs.
Yeah.
And this is like, there's his airplane, there's his island.
Is
like, these people knew. And even today, like, Bloomberg released all these emails. And so but again, it's like, it seems like people that are in Europe and other countries, it's like they're holding their officials accountable for their emails and all this stuff. But it's like, in America, I think the only person they're going to blow up about is Bill Clinton. Like, I think that's going to be the Bill Clinton, like, whenever it comes out what Bill Clinton did, that's the name they're going to hold on to.
Who is going to crucify Bill Clinton at this point?
Come on.
He's already.
We knew he was a creep.
We knew he was on fuck shit
Absolutely.
early.
Way.
Like, you're not about to reintroduce Bill Clinton's creepiness and me be so appalled and so like, oh my God, I can't believe.
Right.
Like, nah, these.
It's a repetitive thing because, you know, the whole documentary that came out as well about the island and everybody who was involved and things of that nature. Like, it's just a repetitive story, a repetitive thing of things that we already are aware of. And I think it just to keep it, you know, relevant and to just get the people talking and, you know, trying to figure out something that, like, we already decided right now that it really doesn't really matter.
Nothing's gonna happen.
It don't matter.
I think sometimes they just want that, you know, sometimes people find that one hill to die on, and it's like that thing. And I think even after this thing, once it comes out, they're going to redact so much that we won't even get full access to it. And then even whatever I'm not going to trust anything these people release. Like, now, if somebody hacks and releases it, I'm going to believe it. But if the DOJ drops it, like, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I'm not believing it. I don't think that I don't trust it. I don't trust anything that comes from this administration.
I don't know what type of government overthrow y'all think is going to happen or what type of prosecution is going down. They just going to change the island's name. They're going to put another billionaire or whoever in there, and the creepy stuff is going to continually go on. Y'all not going to overthrow this. Like I said, the man is dead, so it's like,
the man is dead. His partner's in jail. They moving her somewhere nice so she'll shut up. So it's like,
what are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
They just want something to talk about. That's what that is.
Reinventing and rediscussion of something that is just buried, like literally. So,
and all we want to know is who are the blacks. That's all we want to know. That's all we want to know.
I ain't heard not one black name yet. Like,
so it's like y'all put it out and we see no black. We're gonna be like,
we're gonna be like, cool. Now if we see certain black people that we already knew was down with that. All right, we knew that. We knew it. Like, that's fine. We figured, but for the most part, this ain't our problem.
It's not our problem.
It really isn't, but I mean,
going through it. Whites are going through it.
Like, okay, so there was a question that came up this week with Carmelo Anthony's Hall of Fame speech, okay?
Great Hall of Fame speech, my man.
So, and the question was kind of brought up by Lauren LaRosa from Breakfast Club, where she was saying that he should have thanked his ex-wife. Now, I'm going to play a clip, his ex-wife, Lala Anthony. I'm going to play a clip of the speech, and then, you know, we'll kind of dissect that a little bit.
All right, then.
Kids save me. They gave me a reason to move past ego, past noise, past criticism. They reminded me that legacy isn't what you leave behind, it's what you lift up. To every woman who's held us together, I owe everything to the strength of woman. To the woman who raised us, who loved us through our mistakes, who believed in us before the world saw our potential. I stand here because of you. To the single mothers pulling double shifts, to the grandmothers who stepped in when fathers couldn't, to the sisters who became second mothers, you are the real MVPs.
Okay, so side note. Now, the daughter that he has, that is the daughter that he had on Lala while they were married.
Okay.
So it's important to note that he cheated, had a baby. That's why they got divorced. He hid the baby for a long time. I think this is the first time she's really been seen like in public at an event with him. I can't recall. It may have been like or he ain't really been as present as his son. Should he have thanked Lala? I'll start with you, Tavon. What do you
Nope.
think?
Nope, because as a culture, we have to start standing on business of saying when y'all are divorced or when there's a breakup, that's exactly what it is, a breakup. And honestly, I don't think it was such a big deal because from my POV, from what I've viewed of Carmelo and Lala's relationship is, yeah, the fuck shit happened. They got divorced. They did that quite adult like. It wasn't too messy at the beginning, but
Cause she never even talked. They both have never.
yeah, they've really never had like a sit down tell off for the world to know. I think they handled it as adult and mature as they possibly could. But being in the spotlight of being a Hall of Fame NBA player and Lala being who she is with all she got going, I think they've handled co-parenting and splitting up as maturely as possible. Now, as far as the Hall of Fame speech goes, you damn if you do, you damn if you don't. Like,
right.
It's not gonna elevate nothing to a degree where she feels rectified or anything of that nature. The child being there was hilarious. I thought if pettiness really had a Hall of Fame trophy, that was it. But I don't think it was that much of a big deal. But we as a culture, we always gonna find something to water down the moment, man. And I think whatever relationship that Carmelo and Lala have at this point, it is. I think it's praiseworthy on a mature level because they both know. Listen, we got a kid together. Kyan is a college kid now,
balling too,
and so like they know what it is. She's got her lane. He's over here, but we come together when it's time to support our son. And at the end of the day, like she not worried. That just lets us know that the next Power series she's on, more titties.
I mean, dang, you already exposed
like,
everything.
yeah, like that just means more titties to come.
To play devil's advocate, though, right? She was with him like the bulk of his NBA career, like a huge portion. Is it fair to say that if someone is a part of that long journey, right, that they should get somewhat of a little shout out or something like, or
I definitely don't think so.
Okay.
Like, I don't, because you don't know the inside story of what really took place. Like, he is the one doing the work to get to where he's at. They were in a relationship, which is fine. But like you said, like it's over, the relationship is done. And what I do give him props on was giving a big shout out to women. Period. Like, I mean, you could categorize her in that in your way. And this is the just irritating thing about everybody in your business because nobody forgets.
Right.
So it's like, dude, thank you for your opinion, but this is my speech. This is my career. This is my life. And this is what I wanted to say.
Right.
So regardless of what you feel or, it's kind of like, okay, thank you for that opinion because you don't know the real scoop, So like I said, he gave the props up to women, that in all the category that he mentioned.
I did feel like
he did her in there.
Shout out. He was,
yeah, you
let me
her in
cover it
that.
all.
I feel like he was like, all right.
Oh, he talking about Lala.
I feel
like
everybody
don't expect
in
him
that.
just to specifically say, no. I think that people expectations just be just wild, know. But everybody got an opinion.
And after the divorce, I won scoring titles. So
you don't even know how he felt out about the divorce. You don't know what he's been through or what she's been through internally. Like,
Right.
to have any type of opinion on what this relationship is or what he should do about it or any of that. Like, I
Right.
just, people be so wrapped up into these celebrities' relationships. When we tell each other, don't be jealous of the next relationship because you don't know what they go through.
Right.
Right.
But then you get a situation like this and you think you know it all just because
Right.
they're celebrities.
And they have been divorced for a while. The girl look
Yeah.
about like,
Past.
yeah, like the
Lie
girl
to
is a
her
little
neighbor.
older.
Like,
So
you want him
She
to
look-
actually
she
still
look-
think about her?
she look a
like,
healthy 11.
wild.
right,
Yeah,
like,
Well, yeah, and I think
Everybody's
from
playing their position.
the way that they've handled their relationship, I don't think Lala feels slighted. I don't think I think that those are the bitter women out there that's just looking for
right. Validation.
validation
Past
and retribution,
validation.
like and
Because
always
they're women, because
and
men-
always remember me. And it's like,
Right.
no, this is a Hall of Fame speech. After this, I don't owe you that.
Because one thing on Twitter, a lot of people was like, well, she wasn't shooting with him in the gym.
She wasn't shooting with him in the
Exactly
gym,
what I'm saying.
and she
You
wasn't
don't know
there.
the inside school
And the thing
to
is,
even
too,
She wasn't at the speech.
have
She wasn't. She was on Kai Sinet's stream. Like, she wasn't at the stream. But also,
Oh, my
too, I think
goodness.
that we forget, like, to get to, like, that type of level basketball career, a lot of times they have been playing since they were kids.
Yeah.
It's like they kind of start they do that little junior shit, and then they work their way up, and then it's like, but a lot of the dedication from high school to college to all the summers in between to where they finally get to the NBA, like really the only person that was there was their mama, or unless if it's LeBron James and you got Savannah James, where she was literally your high school sweetheart and you're married through now. And I think that some people kind of forget, like, there's levels to like the loyalty you own a person, or just not the loyalty you own a person, but just like yeah, thank you for holding me down. It's like you were there for like this was like a short chapter in this long span of
long book.
of this basketball career.
Yeah, and if I gotta shout you out, then I gotta shout out the side piece.
Mom,
Yeah.
I gotta shoot.
Mom, and that's it. The rest
Right.
of y'all are women.
Right.
Let's get the bras.
Put it all in a nutshell right there. You categorize whoever you want to categorize and whatever he just said just now.
Right. Okay, so I think we're all in agreement that,
Yes.
Not necessary.
the ex-wife, you don't get no love. You
50
just
Cent, you know what to do.
Right.
Lala. You know what to do. You know what
That
to do.
part. That part.
Y'all know what to do, man.
All right, moving on. I had to save the best for last, the most controversial for last, because goddamn, yesterday was a day. The whites are going through it, okay? And this, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. First, I want to say, before we get into this, I am not here to joke or laugh about somebody's death. Like, I don't condone laughing at somebody's death. That's wrong. So I'm starting with that. So wherever this conversation goes from here, we know we're not laughing at somebody's death. We're just talking about it. Boom. Now that that's out the way, one of the things that was very apparent was that, some people celebrated his death and some people mourn. Now, I'm going to be real. If you were black and were mourning, if you were a black or a person of color and I saw you mourning him in a certain way today, I had to unfriend you just because I don't get it. I can't. But I want to ask, does the internet make it easy to show like a lack of empathy in times like this? Because I feel like once upon a time, like you wouldn't speak ill. Like you wouldn't have like the balls to kind of, just in general, no one would say out loud, oh, I'm glad they did. I'm glad they did. Mm-hmm. Do you think the internet today kind of makes it easier for people to just show that side of them now with no repercussions?
Absolutely.
Yes, because I mean, him amongst like multiple people, and it's just things that I'm seeing on the internet, right? Like the girl who, that her boyfriend, baby mama, shot her in front of the school.
Yeah.
Then you have the girl on the train who was stabbed.
Right.
And just it's making people just pull out their phones and just it's no real emotion there. It's
Right.
like they're they're mistaking like social media like with like television or a TV show.
Right.
That's how they're taking real situations due to the internet, due
Right.
to that is you're looking at something, it's like you don't feel it as much. You just have a lot to say.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it did across the board, like with so many other.
Somebody made a
situations
diss
as
record
well.
to him, and I was like, too soon. Like, I've seen some stuff where it's
Yikes.
like,
But this is the world that we live in
Yeah,
now, where access
unfortunately.
is just it's just that you have access to it all. Nothing is too disclosed unless it's an Epstein file. But everything is ready to be exposed. Everything is ready to be seen. Everything is ready to be heard. That's what the internet is. So it's unfortunate that we have this much access because we get to see the gruesomeness. We get to see the live coverage of just what's going on in the
Right.
world, and it's not pleasant all the time.
at all.
It's not pleasant all the time. And
I have seen every angle of his death, and not by choice.
Yeah, like-
Yeah, and many others.
and
It's wild.
before you can even try to make arrangements to you'll find yourself blocking out your whole phone. You just got to throw your phone away.
No, seriously.
Like, because it's like, all right, I can block this site, I can block this site, I can block this site. Next thing you know, it's just you on a rotary phone.
Yeah, for
At
real.
this point.
Like, I literally saw so many angles yesterday, and I wasn't even looking for it. Like,
even-
it was,
yeah.
it just
For
comes
you
up, and it's
on
to
your
me.
timeline.
I don't understand. Like, I remember, and because, we're all around the same age where, like, you used to have to go on websites to see shit like that. Like, there was, like,
Mhm.
certain
Look at
websites.
the news.
Right, but even the news wouldn't show it.
No,
you know what I
no,
mean?
not at
So it's like,
all. Like, you
we
see
didn't.
the rawness.
You had to choose to go on a website to see that type of content.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, there were pages that posted like the close-ups. I reported them. And like I reported it because I was trying to get the post taken down.
Absolutely.
You was being an internet Karen, huh?
I was. The Karen, the Karen was carrying.
You was
okay?
an algorithm Karen.
I will not have that. But let me tell you, do you know what Instagram did? They denied it. They said this does not go against our community guidelines. And it's
Run it.
like, how? How does like a close up of somebody dying not go against community guidelines when it's like you literally gave me the option to choose
Hey,
somebody's dying.
Because the internet ain't no moral. There's no morality in this shit no more. There's no
Right.
morality in this world anymore, especially coming from America. Like, this is what fuels us.
Right.
Chaos, gruesomeness is what people just are accustomed to seeing, and we're so
Which is
desensitized
fucking
to it.
insane.
It's what they want to see too.
Yeah, it's what they wanna
it's
see.
what's gonna get the views and the these and the that's, and we
Yeah.
talk about that all the time. Like when you trying to do something positive, it gets overlooked. But when it is all the things you mentioned, gruesome drama, this and that, the internet is there, right? But what we're showing the world is that this is the people. You can have this information, right? The internet is not telling you how to react to it or
Right.
what you're gonna, do with it or get from it. They are watching the reaction from the people, and then they're like, oh, these people is like on it. So let's put some more. Let's put
Right.
some more on there. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? It's just all about money.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, when it comes down to these platforms.
So here's my question, because the shit that he would say is off the wall. Like,
Yeah, I was not even like remotely aware of dude like that.
oh, like I knew of him and I've seen certain stuff. So I knew he was a racist. I knew he was a bigot. And then seeing the montage of his clips after death is like, what the fuck? Which is even more why when I see people posting tributes to him, it's like, yo, if you follow that ideology, I can't rock with you. You
Right.
can't rock with me.
Absolutely.
But here's my question. Because a comment that kept coming up when people would bring up his bigotry and would bring up the things that he said was like, well, you shouldn't speak ill of the dead. And the same thing happened when Hulk Hogan died, where people brought up his racist past. They're like, well, you shouldn't speak ill of the dead. He just died. Is there a time limit when you're supposed to talk about the shitty thing someone did? Because it's like, that was their that especially Charlie Kirk, right? Like this was his brand. His brand was off bigotry. His brand, like the things that he said about Black women, Asians, Hispanics, gays, like this was him.
Right.
And, you know, we all have a platform. We use our platform and we have a digital footprint.
Mhm.
And if what you put out there for your digital footprint, the whole time you are stomping on this internet with that shit, shouldn't you be immediately memorialized for what you stood for?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose.
That's the whole purpose.
That's your legacy. That's what you did.
That's the whole
So,
purpose.
wow.
That's
Yeah.
the whole purpose of it.
That's mind blowing to even hear that type of feedback when, like you said, that's what he was known for. So
Yeah,
in
and
his
you're not
death,
gonna
in
get
his
that
life,
opportunity.
like
You're not gonna get that
why
opportunity
not?
at a funeral to say, well, he wasn't like that. Like we have the footage. Like before the internet, before the internet, you could get it off at the funeral. Like
They used to have to put secret cameras on you back in the day. Like they would
Yeah.
have to have a secret recording or some
Right.
secret shit, and then it just got put out.
where the eulogy would be like,
Mhm.
you know, Charlie Kirk, he was such a great guy in high school. He was high school homecoming king and all of this. Like we don't know none of that.
Right.
What we've been introduced when he introduced himself to us, this is what we have. So when he dies, what do y'all expect us for? What do you expect for us to say about him in a good light?
Right. But okay, so here's what I did realize though since he passed, and it made me ask a interesting question to myself that I'm gonna give to you.
Boy, been
guys.
dead 12 hours.
Right. But listen, because when I saw how people were crying, like conservatives were just crying and all of that shit, right? And how emotionally distraught these people are.
They nigga died.
Hello.
But no, but
right.
that's
They
my
all on
question.
the same.
It made me wonder, like, okay, can a public racist be an activist? Because I feel like he's like their MLK. No, no, this is
why
their.
not?
And it made me wonder, like, do they see racists as like when history looks back on this, right? Because even J.D. Vance, the vice president, went to Utah so they could carry his casket on an Air Force One plane to fucking Arizona where he lives. And I'm like, this is their MLK. Martin Luther King didn't even get that much because he was Black. You know what I'm saying? But
First
it's
of all,
like...
The casket ready that fast? Like,
Man.
like they got him in there.
Absolutely.
that's wild.
Yeah.
But listen, to answer your question about can like racist bigotry and them be activists, they can. Like it's not a I don't think it's a negative approach to activism. Like even if you spewing racist and negative thoughts, yeah, but that's their maneuver or their way of preaching. Like
Right.
that's the way of getting a message across in an activist way. Like him going to rallies and traveling the world, like that's a form of activism but it's given off a different. What am I trying to say? Like
I get what you're, because it's nuanced. It's like
Yeah.
it's weird seeing somebody do activism for bad.
right. Yeah, activism activism ain't always good.
And that's what I've kind of learned.
yeah.
Well, there's different groups of people, like, you know what I mean? And he is the one that's speaking up for people who actually think like this behind the doors, like, you
Yeah.
know, and so
Right.
people like idolize people like that. Like, what? He just said what I was thinking and what I've just told my daughter yesterday about Black or whatever. You start to gain like a audience, a following, a people that's like, dang, he is really bold enough to speak on these things that we are actually talking about behind closed doors and is thinking. So I definitely think, yes.
And I think part of the
activists for
problem
that type
too
of stuff.
is which another reason why I kind of relate him to MLK a little bit, right? Like, I don't really, y'all know I don't really think he's like an MLK. I'm just saying,
Right.
for them. Let's get
Right.
that clear. Like,
Yeah, like a leader.
like
of
I know
people.
what the fuck. I know who MLK is and what he
Right.
stood for. So let's be fucking for real about that.
Right.
Like, I know what's up.
Right.
But you know, the way people are posting him, it's like, well, he was a Christian and he had Christian values, and
They all
even
are.
seeing like how Black Christians are utilizing him. Well, he was a Christian and God would love, and it's like, y'all need to get away from that colonizers Christianity for one, because that ain't it. But it's just the hiding behind Christian values to uplift racist bigotry.
They did it with slavery.
Exactly.
That's. I mean,
And we see y'all been on that. So it's
Yeah,
not
they
like
did it
y'all
with
can't- y'all
slavery.
can't- that
so
I think we at a point, especially Black people. I think we at a point where when they so quick to put out their Christian values, it's like, hey, dog, like we've been hearing this since the beginning
Right.
of time. Like
Yeah.
that don't sway our concrete evidence of what this man was on.
Right.
And so, hey, we are going to just continue on with our fucking week.
Right.
You're all sorted out.
Because the crazy thing was, like, this morning there were 3 HBCUs that had bomb threats, so they had to close. And then they released the picture of the shooter, and I think we all knew that he was going to be white, but the man is white. This has nothing to do with Black people
Yeah.
at all. And so
At
to
all.
hear, that there were bomb threats at HBCUs, and then, they're talking about this civil war that's coming, and it's like, this is not our war. Like, Black people, this is not our shit. Like,
Yeah.
I personally feel that even the way they're talking about liberals, I feel like we got to separate liberals from Black people, because
Yeah.
this ain't our fight. Like, this has nothing to do with us.
Y'all, listen,
people are so used to us fighting. It's like everybody fight. They want to.
No,
It's like, it's
I
y'all.
think
Like,
we've reached
no.
the point. I think we've reached a point in American history where white people are so bored and they realize we don't have anyone else to rule over. They don't even realize they fucking themselves up.
Right.
And guess what? Go ahead.
Right.
I believe that.
Right.
As it should.
Go ahead.
Right.
Like we
For
not
real,
we
like-
not trying to interfere with nothing y'all got going on
Right on.
with what y'all got going on.
Right.
Just leave us the fuck alone.
Period.
And we'll be fine.
Because
Like,
even when you look, and the crazy thing is that the first thing that they said, when he was shot is like, oh, this is the leftist Democrats. Then, when the president, the guy in charge, was allegedly the attempted assassination that hit his ear, but questionable. But even that guy
Very.
was a white Republican. There were 2 attempted assassinations on him last summer, and they were by white Republican men. And we don't know what affiliation this guy is with, but he is still a white man. And I think it's like, it's time for them to realize this is a white man's war right now. Like, it really has, and I think all Black people need to get out of the Democratic Party. And I say this as somebody that works with the Democratic Party, but the way it's going down, I don't want anybody calling me a leftist Democrat, because it's like,
If you work with them, you know the real
I'm
deal.
like, wait a minute, hold up. This got a different tone to it. And they talking about, oh, we going after the leftists. It's a civil war. And it's like, who is this war against that y'all are fighting? Because y'all trying to bomb HBCUs. The man was white.
yeah. And that's the thing. Like, they're so confused. And it's just amazing, like, how they are able to operate this country with their confusion. And it's like, I didn't have a caring bone in my body yesterday about it. Like, as a human,
Right.
I was like, that's fucked up.
Right.
But then watching it, seeing who was, seeing who he was and all that, I go, it's fucked up. But
Right.
when you a fucked up person, fucked up things happen to you.
And here's the thing too, right? Like,
And be careful what you wish for.
be careful what your words have power.
Yeah.
You know, and even when it comes to, and growing up in the inner cities, and when they would talk about gang violence, they would always say, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. And I think that was something that it was able to be said, in the hood and stuff like that. But if you look at this situation, you live by the gun and you live for that Second Amendment, and you were willing to die for it. You spoke about public executions, and that is like, we have to be so careful of what we say, not just because it's like our digital footprint and you got to stand on that, but it's also like words have power.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's like an energy associated with that. And I think that when people try to demonize somebody for saying, well, look at what he said, look at what he talked about, look at what he preached, it's not wishing or congratulating death on a person. It's just like, did y'all hear what he said?
It is. Yeah.
It's just like somebody, it's just like the bully who would be in school and he was the one to say, punch me, I dare you to punch me. If you punch me, I'm going to punch. And you punch him, and you go, and you knock him out, and then he wakes up and go, why'd you punch me? Well, nigga.
Right.
Like, what you want? So when you preaching what you preaching, understand, like, guy here, and so he'll make the example come to your front door. And so it's unfortunate, and I feel like it's unfortunate because we have the access to see that. And if we have the access to see that, that means our children have the access to see that.
Yeah.
And when you have that access, you see the world for what it is truly, and you have to, as a person on the inside, try to figure out, how do I maneuver through this with the right state of mind?
Right. Because I ain't gonna lie, like, seeing that fucked me up. Like, there were too many angles of that. And
listen, they didn't made an anime video out of it.
And they're showing it so much, these things, that it starts, like, when you first see something like that, it's like, oh my God.
Right.
But once you see it so many times.
Yeah, to the point where you can't
like,
avoid it.
Right. Yeah. Because I'm going to be
now
honest.
It's just a scroll, or it's a conversation. Or
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because when they first posted the video before it was announced he passed, when they first posted that far shot, I was like, Lord, they done posted this man dying. Like, you could tell, like, wasn't no way you could really survive something like that, And then when I saw it, I was like, damn, why they post that, And then when it was announced, I was hoping pages would take that video down, but then they didn't. And then they kept posting. Then when the close-ups came and you could actually see, I was like, these people are just, and again, like you said, it's like, we shouldn't be used to seeing people the last few seconds of their life. Like, I personally, even when it comes to body cam footage that gets released from like police, I don't watch those videos. Like, I stopped consuming that type of content after, I think the kid was Laquan McDaniel, the one that was killed in Chicago, shot like 16 times or something like that. After that video, I was like, I'm done watching this shit. Like, so I never watched the George Floyd video. I never, like, ever since then, I don't watch these videos because it's like,
it's traumatizing.
It's traumatizing, and I'm gonna look directly into the camera because this is kind of like the surreal moment that people have to realize. The same sentiment that y'all was trying to give us about moving on, or this happens every day with George Floyd, with Sandra Bland. When y'all get on these sites and y'all get on this internet and say, well, that's the way it goes for y'all, yada, 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 get over it, move on, this happens every day. Hey, move on. Get over it. This happens. So when y'all
almost every day.
Almost every day.
Now, it's happening to your political figures. And so with that being said, be cautious about what you out here spewing and going to these different cities and thinking that you untouchable. Because this is a prime example of you not being what you think you are.
And, to kind of add to that, right? We haven't, and I say, blacks and minorities in this country have not had black leaders in the forefront since they assassinated them all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
we don't want that job no more.
we haven't.
Somewhere else now.
We just got someone else to do it, and so so our generation, like, we haven't had to witness any political leaders get killed in front of us because it's like
the only thing 80 babies is missing off their resume.
For real. And so this is like the first time that I feel like in this new generation where people are seeing like their political leader get assassinated, and this time it's on the other side, which is why it's like, but the sad thing is, it's like they still won't give compassion. It's like the same compassion and empathy they're asking for, they will not give. Like, because when George Floyd passed,
this is some of y'all thought it was
a drug
what we deserve.
They said he was not killed. It was he died of a drug. Especially and he spoke. Charlie Kirk spoke horribly of the dead.
Yeah.
And it's just like, for me, it just, again, I don't speak ill of the dead because that's just not me. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in the power of the tongue. And so that's why I'm mindful of what I say. But, when you live by, when that's your brand of talking down on the dead, even, Candace Owens, she does that shit too. It's like, these are political figures that have talked so ill of the dead, when it's like Martin Luther King didn't do that. Malcolm X didn't do that. Huey P. Newton didn't do that. Fred Hampton, like the people that were killed did not act like that, and they didn't even get the same dignity, a speck of the dignity that this guy is getting. And that's where, for me, it's like, as a black woman, I really have to really separate my feelings from seeing it, because it's like, it just reminds me more and more, like, even though we're American citizens, this country is not for us. Like, and it's not even worth getting upset over anymore.
I went to work.
And, because I remember even, with the JFK, like, assassination, that was, like, publicly done.
Right.
Like, that was the first type of imagery that we've seen, that type of assassination.
Right.
And so, like, in today's time, like you said, like, it's just been over and over things that has been done. And it's like, why not circle back? Like, I hate to say that and talk like that, but at the same time, you do reap what you sow. And people really need to know that is real.
Right.
Like how we have memory, the universe have memory. You put it out there, it's going to circle right on back. I don't know why people think that that's not a thing, and be more cautious about their actions, the things they say, what they stand for. And at the end of the day, like you said, people think they untouchable, and they really just don't care.
Right. And again, like you said, it's the universe and karma. And like, people like to not just think that they're untouchable by a person or a bullet, but it's like there's no karma, or like, and it's like we all get like
karmic energy.
Free will is a thing, and we all have choices. You know what I mean? And even like looking at his videos, I was like, this is a choice. You know what I mean? Like, there are choices that are made. And I saw someone post like 300 new Charlie Kirks were born or were made today, and I'm just like, what y'all think's gonna happen? You know what I mean? It's like, there's only so much hate in the world, and I hate to be that person where it's like, the world needs love, but but the world genuine, like, it's kind of like, I just feel like the same empathy that conservatives are asking for, it's like, the lesson should be, maybe I should give this same empathy the next time I see somebody unjustly murdered or somebody fighting for something that gets murdered. But it's like this vicious cycle. And it just makes me wonder, like, what's the end game with all this shit? Like, when it comes, because it seems like, especially the rhetoric of what the president is saying, what Republicans are saying, like, it just seems like they're agents of chaos. And they want to see the fight, and they want to see the political shit. And it's like, at some point, it's like, when does it end.
You know, and this is reminding me of Squid Game and Hunger Games. And you know what I'm saying? You have these elite people that sit up on top and just look at it as a game, like entertainment, as, you know, a gamble. You know what I mean? It's horrible. Like, this is a harsh society, culture overall in America. Like, it just really don't make sense. And when you look at the opinions of people in other countries, they like, ooh, Americans is like wild.
Very ghetto.
Yes.
And they're not talking about the ghettos in the hood. They talking about all the
America.
They talking about the whole country.
Talking about the whole makeup.
Yes.
Would not
Like,
recommend.
what
Whole
is going on
makeup,
here?
the-
And this is the place that everybody trying to come to.
Which is insane.
So what is actually going on in reality? It's like, whoa.
Right.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, when you pass away, you can't even take your skin with you.
Right.
So to have all this uprise and uproar about our skin complexions and what our statuses and everything of that nature, when you gone, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know what it's going to take, you know, but they're going to find somebody to blame, and it ain't going to be white people. Like, I don't know. They always try
Listen,
to, like,
right.
turn it from them. Like, even what happened with the immigration stuff with, you know, the Hispanics and the whole immigration stuff. And they were like, Black people, where are you? Like, those
Right.
memes and things that are coming up. It's like, stop. Listen, this is you and
This ain't
your
our fight. This
fight.
ain't our problem.
Stop bringing us up. I know y'all so used to seeing us in situations protesting and people dying and A, B, C, D. But, like, I mean, come on now. Like, focus on the problem,
Right.
and stop focusing on, like, being what is it called? What, back in the day when people used to be like, ooh,
The
Instigator.
the instigator.
And I think it's about us not
Absolutely.
wanting to be the like, we don't have to organize the shit. Like, we don't, I think people, like you said, you know, like the civil rights movements from Jim Crow to just moving forward, that was very led and structured by Black Americans, by Black Americans that were descendants of freed slave Black Americans, right? So when you look at, yeah, they felt that urge to do that. Me personally, I feel like we made a mistake integrating. I think that we should have focused. Like, even now, if they said segregation was legal, I'll be like, cool. Where my trial? What we doing?
I
Like,
agree, because that's real talk. Like, you know, because what's going to happen?
right.
You know what I mean? I mean, if this was the thing, and I mean, love is love. I get it. Like,
Right.
I'm not knocking that whatsoever. But there's a reason for this. Like, if you go back, like, what, 30, probably 40, whatever years back, it was like, it wasn't the thing. It was jungle fever.
Right.
It was this and this and that. Because we need to what is
Regroup.
appropriate? Keep
Regroup.
going.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when everybody is all kind of different things? It's like,
Right.
it's interesting.
And I think too, like,
to look at.
what I always wonder when it comes to like all this shit right now, like, because everything is fucking crazy out here, and I always think, like, if January 6th wasn't the thing that was like the kaboom, shit's got to change, it's like, how crazy do things have to get for people who are technically the leaders, who really shouldn't be leading, but it's like, what's it gonna take for everything to just fucking blow up and blow over, to kind of like just start over? And a part of me feels like, I genuinely hope it's not like a new civil war, because that's what they keep saying. It's about to be a civil war. And I'm like, who in this war and why?
And if it is about to be a civil war, who is it going to be with?
Right.
Do the whites think they got the numbers now?
Right.
Like, what's happening?
But you got to think too, when it's going to be a lot of whites on whites, like that's
Yeah,
the
that's the
first
thing.
split, and then it's like when it comes to but when you look at the immigration and everybody else who you have ostracized,
Right.
I'm gonna be sitting back with popcorn in my house,
Listen.
like
chilling.
They said the AI robots is about 10 G's a pop right now. Go ahead and grab you one of those and figure it out. Like,
Man.
but because it's like not, I mean, if that's what they want, because I've always been under the assumption that that's what Big T want.
right,
Donald Trump wants to be a commander in chief that had his war moment. And
Right.
so when he's realized that none of the foreign countries or anything they don't even pay attention to this man. They
Right.
laugh at this man, they meet up with this man, they have coffee, they go about it, and then they go back in the group chat and
And
go,
do the real work.
yeah, and say, listen to this. Do y'all see what this man is on? He want to fight us for nothing. We're not even trying to fight them like that. So he's trying to, whoever wants to fight, he's with it.
Right.
And so he's going to provoke each and every last person. So if he's like, nah, I got to just do it on home base, it's like, duh.
Which have been done several times.
Right.
True.
Okay, we could look at Katrina, 9/11, and it's 9/11.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, everything is in memory of that. Like, but I think that, you know, what he's doing with the economy, like, you know, just stripping people. So we talked about this a long time ago, how it's going to be no middle class. It's going to be
Right.
the poor and the rich. I think
Right.
that is also an ingredient to this quote unquote new civil war
Right.
that's
Mhm.
quote unquote approaching.
Right.
Right.
Because that does play a big part. When you have middle class people who've worked their butt off and they're losing money, their jobs, their homes, that's going to bring an uproar.
Mhm.
Right.
And like you said, though, who are they going to target?
Right. Because
right? The people in power.
because even
So
when it
it's
comes
like,
to, you know,
dang,
how
I think that
Nepal
could be a possibility.
Nepal just like threw over their government because of basically the class war. It was kind of like the government basically was overtaxing the people, and the country was dirt poor, and people got tired, and they basically had a revolt and overthrew the government and burnt down Parliament.
See, that's
And
what I could see.
Even exactly, but it
Yeah.
reminds me of, and I knew it was fake when I saw it. That's why I didn't fall for the shit, because when Luigi killed the
CEO dude, the
CEO of
healthcare CEO
healthcare,
dude.
I remember I was seeing comments and people were like, "Oh, rich or poor." It was like, Democrat or Republican, we hate the rich and da 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 da. And then it was like, soon as Donald Trump got in office and got inaugurated, all that shit changed.
Mhm.
And again, it's like, when it all boils down, you know, it comes down to these people, these billionaires, these tech billionaires, and you know, everybody's feeling it now, but next year when this big beautiful bill really hits, that's when they're really going to be feeling it. That's when everybody's going to be feeling it even more.
Absolutely.
And the thing is that there's this denial of, like, his base is really in denial. Like, when I saw farmers, for example, I forget which state it was, but like the farmers, they were like begging him for help because they've lost all their subsidies
Mhm.
because of what Doge did. So they lost everything and they're about to lose their farm. And they held a town hall to ask him for help, but it's like, guys, you voted for him and you voted for these cuts.
Mhm.
So it's like, this is
Wild.
but again, it goes to that question of, well, who is the war going to be against? Because if the war is against each other, at the end of the day, the people at the top are the ones that are winning right now. You know what I mean? And when it comes to the elected officials, I blame them for allowing the shit. Like, when it comes to, you know, even, I've never seen people like this much of a pussy, I must say. Like, it's crazy how much people will kiss somebody's ass and change for a political title and a check.
Mhm.
And it just makes me wonder, again, who is that war going to be against? Because I don't think we're going to fight the right people. Well, I ain't going to be fighting nobody.
Yeah.
I want to make that clear. The Civil War is between
I'm
y'all.
gonna be telling jokes abroad. I'm
Yeah,
not
just
about
on
to
the
be.
platform.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, y'all. So what happened the other day? You know,
Right.
like, period. Like,
I'm going to be streaming live from another living room.
That
Okay,
part.
y'all.
Being
So
the-
what had happened was, it looks like
Chuck hit Donald with a Pabst Blue Ribbon
right, sitting here.
20 ounce. That was crazy. What, like,
then we had this militia came out of nowhere from the
Yeah.
woods, and they had they bunker. Like,
did y'all see the guns out of Montana? They going crazy.
Man.
Nah, it's wild.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
outside of a AI robot war, I don't know what's gonna end this shit. Like,
Man.
and I think the twist is whoop-de-doo. It ain't gonna end. There ain't no ending. I think that's what I
Period.
think that's the twist. I think
Mhm.
as the world keeps revolving and all that, I don't think there's going to be an end. Like, unless America really rises up like Nepal did and all that stuff. But we don't even know what that looks like, and I don't think America's ready to see what that looks like, because if it looks like from what we've watched in movies and stuff before on revolts and how Rome was burned down to the ground, if y'all really think America about to look like that, then are y'all prepared for that? Because that's not pretty. That's a lot of burned buildings. That's a lot of dead blood just spilled on the streets. And who are y'all gonna have to clean it up?
I remember somebody asked me, and then I'll never forget. We were kind of talking, and it was
because the blacks ain't we not landscaping like that. The Mexicans ain't gonna do
right.
We gonna be that like we not. And I don't want to make super fun of it, but it is. You get to a point where you have to just find some type of comical relief, because you can go insane watching this. Like,
no, seriously,
you can really go like it can really traumatize you to the point where you just desensitize to not even feeling.
And I think
anything.
the anxiety too, like the anxiety and fear mongering from everything that's going on, I think that can drive people crazy alone. Like, I probably watch the news, an actual news show, like I'll watch something maybe like once a week, because you get so much on social media that it's like information overload, and you have to desensitize yourself from it, because if you don't, the fear of what if, because, and again, the media runs on fear too. Like the way they tell the stories, nothing, it gives you no hope. Like you just be feeling like, I'm gonna be broke tomorrow. I'm losing everything, and it's about to be a race war. And it's like, if you really allow that to kind of penetrate your psyche and just really engulf yourself in it. And so a lot of times, and it sounds so cliche, but when I do watch news and I do see shit, I really just be like, God bless America. But I really be asking God to bless America and bless all my peoples, bless my family. Like, I think prayer and community is so important right now. And the sad thing is, like, a lot of us aren't necessarily in community anymore. Like, there are no communities per se. It's like, I don't really know my neighbors. Like, I don't know my neighbors like that. I don't know their names. One time they brought me one of my Victoria's Secret package that got left at their door.
Man, shout out to my neighbor Kevin. He's a real one out here.
Like, I don't know their names. And it makes me wonder too. Like, damn, if there was an emergency or something, you know what I mean?
Who could we go to? Like, the best thing about that is to start to open up to your neighbors and community. Like, you know what I mean? We can't change others. We could change us and our actions and what we do. But that's always been a thought in my mind too. Like, you know, moving out here from LA, and if something was to go down, like, I don't even have, like, who will, you know, me and my son only. Like, oh my goodness, like, I'm scared of a gun. So it's like, dang, I'll just be like, okay.
In an open carry state at that.
Oh my God. To add insult to injury, girl. Yes. So, I mean, it is something to think about. Like, this is not something to be taken lightly. And are you prepared? Like, you know, people always talk about having money. Okay, so if the internet and everything, the electricity, power grids, all that shut down, you ain't gonna have no access to that money. That money is for you to have supplies.
Right.
You know, get you a generator, get you guns. I'm sorry, but you know, you got to protect your stuff. You know, get you food, get you water, get the resources is what you need to have.
We don't need guns to hunt this food down.
See? Man,
I don't know if you've ever come across a bison, but you're not about to just pat that down.
Right.
That would be a good idea, though, to be a activist. Look, in your community for this type of thing.
You know what I think too?
That's a good idea.
I think as minorities, the same way, because you know, we've always seen white people prepare for this. Like, we've seen the shows like Naked and Afraid and all. Like, they have been actively preparing. We see them at their militias in their woods shooting and drilling and stuff like that. And I really think all minorities, blacks, Latinos, like, there needs to be that same kind of mindset of, if we lost it all, if we lost energy, internet, how would we survive if we had to with nothing? You know what I mean? Because anything, you know, anytime like Facebook or the internet goes down, I always wonder, like, all it takes is like one thing to shut everything down. And let's not act like they ain't got the power grid to shut all the shit down.
They really do, though. That's why all these movies is coming out about it. You know, you have you know, Obama that came out with Leave the World Behind. Like,
Right.
that's nothing but a message. Like, we take things so lightly like a game. And it's like the human behavior is being studied.
Right.
You know what I mean? And people is really thinking, like, this is a game. And it's like, I mean, come on now. Like, why would Obama put something out like that?
Yeah, when I found out he produced that shit, I was like, what you trying to tell us, B?
He's telling you everything.
What's
Look
going on, Barack?
Most of the things of what he's saying is already taking place in front of our very own eyes, like with the Teslas and
Right.
stopping and blow, like just all kind of things like that are going on in that movie is slowly happening.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
And I would say for our culture, I do believe that there are communities out there that's actually doing the things like that you were saying, like with being naked and afraid, or having
a plan.
plans and stuff like that. And I think it's not as publicized because we see what happens when Black people do things and
Right.
it's globalized.
Right.
The government comes in,
Shuts it
shuts
down.
it down, bombs
Right.
our stuff. So we have to operate in this guerrilla, like DEFCON 5 like secrecy.
But
to get
honestly,
the shit
that's what
off.
a lot of these groups do. That's how the Proud Boys
Yeah,
operate.
and
That's
so-
what they all
so-
do.
So that's the way we have to go about it. So it's just a matter of you if you have the courage to seek out that knowledge and just understand, like you got to probably keep it a secret. You got to keep things on the hush. You can't just be out here on YouTube saying, yeah, we over here in part 5, you know what I'm saying, shooting shit up right now, because they gon'
address the
yeah,
street.
we giving them too much access to come shut us down before we even get started and make the
Right.
plan go through. So and shout out to those people that are out there in the community making stuff happen, making sure
Right.
that their people are prepared, and you know, we hope that it expands and it branches out. But yeah, we living in a country right now they going through it.
You can feel the energy in the air. It's
Oh, of
course,
yeah, it's
everywhere.
everywhere.
Like, it's just like come on now, like everybody's spidey senses should be up, like because
Right.
it's something ain't right, and you
Yeah.
can feel it every day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So prepare yourself. Like that's one thing that I can say. Get with people.
Be fucking for
you
real
know,
about your
yes,
life.
be fucking for real about your life. Amen. That was perfect. Perfectly said.
And on that note, so we got to end this, but we going to wrap it up with something you think people need to be fucking for real about. We going to end that with the final thought. My final thought is some of y'all need to be fucking for real that Harriet would have shot y'all. Y'all would have been the ones that was shot and not on the trip to the Underground Railroad. That's what I think some of y'all need to be fucking for real about. What you think, Forever?
I mean, I just think people need to be fucking for real with these just allegations of. I'm just tired of it. It's a trend. Like, you know, like cut it out. Like we stated many of times, like if you feel uncomfortable, leave. Do something about it, especially what happened with R. Kelly. Like you got people that came out from years back. Like what happened years back? What happened 10 years ago? I mean, what happened then to now, to where now is the time to do something about it? Hopping on these trends and ruining people's lives, like, regardless, even if they're guilty or not, it's like it's some type of like some I don't know, some grounds or something that needs to happen for it to be more investigated, right?
Right.
For it to be some type of time limit to where I don't know, but it's like being obvious to me that these people are being taken advantage of because they have the money to give. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Puff Daddy, like, dude, Diddy, you know, like, dude, this is what he's do. Like, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? I mean, since when was it a crime to be gay? Or when was it a crime to have a naughty party?
Sex parties.
Yeah, that was, come on, what? So what's happening here? Like, no, really, like we really need to look at that, and people do need to be fucking for real about these allegations that they are coming up with as a trend. Even with Shannon Sharp, like the whole shebang, it is ridiculous.
Okay. Tavon, what you got?
Be fucking for real about loving yourself, man.
Ooh.
Amen. I love it. Come
Ooh.
on.
Like be y'all stupid.
Yes,
but seriously,
no,
like
real talk.
in the climate that we're in,
Took my answer, y'all.
the climate that we're in, and the resources that we have, be fucking for real about utilizing those to strengthen yourself. You don't know it all. You, for the people that feel like you can't depend on people, you find within yourself to find a way to tap into a higher power, a spiritual power, or whatever it is that may be. But focus on loving yourself more. Focus on getting your money for you. Worry about getting your health right for you. Worry about surrounding yourself with your family and getting your family intact before you go out into the community and try to change the community. Everybody want to change the world. Worry about changing you first.
Start with the man in the mirror, like Michael Jackson said, okay?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well said.
All right. And on that note, I want to thank my guests, Forever the Realist and Tavon Greatness, for the first Talk Back Thursday. Be fucking for real. I am Miss Megan Liana, and this is the place of unfiltered takes and unapologetic truths. And I'm going to see y'all next time.
Peace. This was